decided on medical school. Guess what, friends? You'll never guess. You'll just look at the thumbnail and you'll know. I'm headed to Guess Who Decided on Medical School. Hi, so I am Simone. Welcome back to Healers with You. Today we are going to talk about my med school decision. I have officially decided on a medical school. Very exciting stuff. I'm going to just be taking you all through my thought process and all of the things. Before this decision, I had narrowed it down to two medical schools, Morehouse School of Medicine and Meharry Medical College. So I'm going to just take you through my thought process on how I got from there to our final results. Stay tuned to hear where I end up going. I went to both of these schools second looks, and I made vlogs. So if you haven't watched those, go ahead and watch them because they were a lot of fun to make, and I hope you guys are enjoying them. First, I'm gonna talk you through my process, give you some tips. My biggest tip would be to collect as much information about the schools as you can and hold on to them. So at first, when I was making a med school list, just my preliminary list, I had a slideshow and it had all the med schools that I was gonna apply to, and it had all of like their metric information, average GPA, average MCAT score, stuff like that. And then it had like green flags, red flags, yellow flags, things that I liked about the school and not so much, all of the information that I could find about the school. I just took as many notes as I possibly could every single time that I got the opportunity to interact with the school in any way. During their interview day, this is a great opportunity to kind of see how do their students interact with each other, how do their faculty interact with you, all of these things. If you see any red flags there, they probably should be there. Because obviously during that interview day, they're giving you a lot of information about, how the day is going to go, about the school, and you need all of that too. But you also want to take notes on like the interpersonal interactions, like, okay, they look a little salty towards each other. I don't know, stuff like that. Just take notes during that. And then ask students hard questions. Anytime you get the opportunity to talk to a student, that is an opportunity to see how is it to actually go to this school. Don't be afraid to ask, okay, what don't you like about this school? What's your least favorite part? What would you change if you could? Do your professors listen to you? What do you think of your professors? Do you go to class? Should I go to class? All of these things are questions that you should ask students if you get the opportunity to. And then I took tons of notes and videos and all of the things during the second look. So second look, it could be in person, it could be virtual. I think they have a virtual option sometimes. And this is just your opportunity to be on the campus, talk to the admissions committee and some professors, talk to students. Maybe there's a panel, get a tour. So much time. So many things to kind of explore the school and just dive in. And they're going to try to sell themselves to you. But again, don't be afraid to ask the hard questions to the professors, to whoever you meet about the things. And it might be helpful to make a little vlog or something. Shameless plug. It was just so you can look back on it and say, you know what, I think I even looked happier there, maybe, I don't know. Or I like this campus more just visually, or I like the city more. And then after I had all of those notes, I had my slideshow, I had notes on notes on notes, I came down to two schools. And what did I do? I made a Venn diagram. Take it real back, you can do it on good old-fashioned pen and paper just to compare, the programs. What do I like about each school? Just to visually see it really helped me, because there are a lot of things that these schools have in common, but I needed to be able to compare them better, and using a Venn diagram was, the easiest way for me to do it. Obviously, there are tons of other ways that you can compare two things or compare schools and all of that, but that's just the way that I went about it. So now I'm going to kind of take you guys through my little Venn diagram, starting with Morehouse School of Medicine. I'm going to start off with just some basic statistics. Morehouse has a 98% match rate, 81% go into their specialty of choice, 45% go into primary care. They have a graduation rate of 95%. Their attrition rate is actually less than 1%, which is amazing. That 95% of their students pass the USMLE Step 1 on their first try, which is so great and so important because this is how you get to move on into your third year. You don't get to go to third year if you don't pass USMLE Step 1. The biggest things that stood out to me is that 81% match into their first specialty choice on their first try, which is amazing because, obviously that's how you get to be, a grown-up doctor, if you will, by matching into a residency. And so if you fall in love with a specialty, you want to go into that specialty. You want to be able to match into that specialty. This school prepares its students to go into the specialty of their choice. Next, we're going to talk about Meharry Medical College. They have an 87% graduation rate, 87% pass Step 1 on their first try, a 97% match rate, and 54% go into primary care. Okay, so the things that stood out to me about those stats, 87% graduation rate is a little lower, especially when you compare it to Morehouse's 95% graduation rate. That was a little kind of a yellow flag for me. Then there's the 87% pass rate of their Step 1 on their first try, which is a little bit lower than Morehouse. They have a 91% pass rate on their first try, so it's like very close. But they have a really high match rate, like a 97% match rate is really good. And then 54% enter primary care, which is something that they pride themselves on because they are the second leading producer of Black primary care physicians, which is amazing. Another stat, if you will, about Meharry is that it is a little bit more expensive. The cost of tuition is like $59,000 versus the cost of tuition at Morehouse being like $47,000. Which is kind of a big difference, like $10,000 extra just in tuition per year. But another thing to think about is the cost of living. How much are you going to need to drive? How much are you going to need to drive? Driving in a big city versus driving in a smaller city. All of these things will kind of balance each other out, honestly, when you're thinking about like Atlanta versus Nashville. Next, let's talk curriculum. Okay, so their curriculum is pretty standard. They have the 2 pre-clinical years and the 2 post-clinical years like most schools do at this point. They have a community health course, which is really awesome. As a group of your peers, you get to partner with a community group. They give you a problem and you get to come up with a solution and actually start putting that solution into action, which is amazing. And it doesn't always... Like, from my understanding of it, it doesn't necessarily have to do with medicine, which is cool because communities have problems that don't always have to do with health. They don't always start with health, but sometimes they are correlated with health eventually. So it's awesome that they give their students an opportunity to get into the community and actually, get the wheels rolling on a solution to a problem that they're having. Awesome to me. Another amazing curriculum thing is Grady Memorial Hospital. For those who don't know about Grady is the largest hospital in all of Georgia, and it is the only level 1 trauma center in Atlanta, and it's a public hospital that serves all of Atlanta. The reason that this is so important is exposure. When you are at this hospital, there is so much to see. So many people coming through the door from all different types, all different walks of life. That's so important to the doctor that I want to become. I want to be someone who is able to be equitable to everyone, and so you need that kind of exposure to do that. When it comes to curriculum, one thing that I know about Meharry is they are a little older. They were founded in 1876, which is about 100 years older than Morehouse School of Medicine, which was founded in 1975. So 150-year-old school versus about a 50-year-old school. So, they are more established in their curriculum. They know what they're doing because they've been around for a while. Overall, their curriculum is pretty standard. Another really cool thing about the curriculum is they have the Meharry Vanderbilt Alliance, so they work really closely with Vanderbilt, which is really cool because we can do research there, we can have mentors there, just like having more connections is always an awesome thing. Plus, since they're an older school, there's naturally more connections there too. Something else that is not necessarily curriculum, but important, is that they have a meal plan, which is kind of rare and very important for us broke medical students. They have a certain amount, they have a cafeteria, they have I think they said a fish fry Friday maybe, or Thursday, and soul food and all those things. So that would be amazing to be able to essentially, like, built into your tuition, have lunch every day. Whereas Morehouse doesn't have that. They don't really have a cafeteria. They have a cafeteria, but it's like open with very limited hours and it's out of your own pocket. But I hear that the food is pretty cheap, so maybe it wouldn't matter all that much, but still, every dollar out your pocket is a dollar out your pocket, especially when you're thinking about loans. Third, I want to talk about the city, Atlanta. Morehouse is in Atlanta, Georgia. I spent a summer there last year and loved it. There was, I didn't get to explore as much as I would like to, but, I still love the city, and like the idea of getting to explore again is always awesome. Very diverse city, as I kind of mentioned during my second look. I never felt like I stood out or was out of place or anything like that, which is so important, not only because of your education and your need to like see diverse populations, but also you still have to live there, and whatever medical school you choose, you have to live there and be comfortable there, and that's a big part of your learning environment as well. Another thing is Atlanta is closer to family. I do have family that lives in the Atlanta metropolitan area, and also family that lives I think a little southern of Atlanta. My dad grew up in Georgia, so tons of family. Kind of think about what support will I be able to have there. That's a thing that you definitely should think about when you're thinking about a med school. Don't just think about academics. What is outside of academics? What is the city like? What kind of support system will you have there? Very important things. Meharry Medical College is in Nashville, Tennessee, which is really cool because I've never really been to Nashville. The first time that I actually went there was for their second look. So it was kind of cool to start exploring, but there would be so much more exploring that I would get to do because I only spent 48 hours there, 72 hours there. There's so much more to see, and that's a really exciting prospect. Whereas with Morehouse, I did spend a summer there. Like I said, I have family there in Atlanta, so I've spent more time there. Obviously, there's more places to explore. Always, I'm the queen of let me get out and find something to do and find something to explore. But Nashville would be a totally new experience, which is very exciting to me. Other things with the city and the campus kind of mixed. There is more on-campus housing. Morehouse has one apartment building that they kind of share with also the undergrad students, and they have a partnership with them, so School of Medicine students get priority and all of that, but it's just one building, so I hear that it's very full and very, hard to get in there. Meharry has 4 buildings, some older than the others. I hear, different things about different places. Cost is different places, but there are more opportunities to live closer and on campus, so that's a cool thing. And there's a lower cost of living in Nashville compared to Atlanta. Atlanta's a little more bustling and stuff, so naturally the cost of living is a little bit higher. So that's also another thing that I considered when thinking about this. Now I'm going to talk about the things that they had in common. They actually have a lot of things in common. Their curriculum is pretty similar. You know, they're both great schools. But the things that I picked up, they're both in the South, which was important to me because I'm from Texas, I'm from Dallas, so kind of coming back closer to home, and also the South is like more familiar for me. Going back to like what kind of support will you have at whatever school that you choose, being closer to home, being closer to the South was important to me because, you know, it's hard not being able to drive home or fly home for the weekend when you need it, you know, like that was one of the hardest parts of being at Howard was being so far away from family. So being closer to family and that support system is very important to me, and so that's why it's awesome that they're both in the South. They also both have student-run clinics, which is huge. So as I said, both of them have 2 preclinical years and 2 clinical years. That's kind of how their curriculum is run. But student-run clinics are an awesome opportunity to get some clinical experience before those clinical years. You get to learn how to you do blood pressures, you learn how to do a history, you learn all of these things in medical school, but then these student-run clinics are an opportunity for you to actually put those things into practice on real patients, which is awesome. And you get to help the community in such a tangible way, in the way that you want to. The whole reason that I'm becoming a doctor is to help the underserved, to be doctor of color, a woman doctor of color in a world when there aren't a lot of us, so that I can help those communities that look like me. And so having these student-run clinics is an awesome opportunity to get out in that community and do the work that I want to do early. And then the third thing is they have such an awesome family atmosphere. Both places, if I had to use one word to describe how they interact with each other as students and as faculty, the faculty amongst each other, the students and the faculty, all of the things, I would use family because they take care of each other. They are real. They are down to earth. And I love that. And that's, again, really important because the support system, yes, it's, you know, family and all of the people, but it's also the class that you're in your classes every day with. Like, you have every single class, at least for those first 2 years, with those people. So you want to be able to mesh with them. You want to be able to laugh and joke because there's going to be hard times where you need to laugh. Now for the main event, the reason that we're all here to figure out where is Simone going to school. Let me start off by saying they were amazing schools. This was a really hard choice. It wasn't like, oh, obvious in either direction. I am grateful to just be admitted. Like, I know that there are so many people who want to be where I am, want options, and didn't get it. So, like, for me to have a choice is just so amazing and something I'm so grateful to God for. But I have decided that I will be going to, drum roll please, Morehouse School of Medicine! So the biggest factors for me were closeness to family and my love for the city of Atlanta. It's just so much fun. The diversity of the city, how much stuff there is to do, all of those things kind of set it over the top for me. And of course, being closer to family, just being here for a week, I've already gotten to spend more time with this side of the family than I have in like months combined. So I'm really, really excited to be here. I'm excited to be at Morehouse. I'm excited to be a medical student. Classes start tomorrow. I can't wait to take you guys on this journey. I can't wait to show you all of the things firsthand. Let me know if you guys have anything specifically that you want me to tell you, that you guys want me to show you, and I will gladly do that. So yeah, that's all we got for today. I'm headed to Morehouse School of Medicine, and that is it. Please, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions about my decision process, about starting med school, about orientation, about all of the things, about moving across the country. It's been quite the journey, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. So, thank you for watching. Goodbye.